probably could have got that Lila thing to look a little better. I might fix it actually while I'm here. Are you guys still here? Have you returned? Did you return
Get
it?
get this disgusting piece of garbage off the screen.
Which one?
Don't you dare
Who are
Which
you talking
one, he
about?
have
says.
don't you dare have her in the middle of two great women. Get this.
Why you talking about Lee's like that, bro? She cool, man. God damn,
Oh,
what's wrong with
okay.
him? Yes, Sirski. You know you gotta have Big Asha. You know you gotta have Gold Brilith. I got all the baddest things on screen right now. Welcome to, I guess, the second part of whatever we did the last week, where we just kind of talked about Kubera in general. Miles has reread the series pretty recently, so we had a lot of interesting tidbits to share and questions, and just kind of cool things to bring up about the series and whatnot. And we do have Glam with us this time, so I don't have to just look confused the entire time. Maybe Glam could chime in a little bit, but. The team's properly named. This knowledge is my heart being healed. A mere mortal. You got a new fan over there, Miles. But all right, start us off. I know you had a lot of things from last week. What are we starting with, man? What do you got? What do you
Okay.
got for us today?
One,
Greater wisdom, Lord Miles.
I'm gonna actually even more so agree with one of Glam's problems, which is when Kubera sees Leez for the first time in season 3 when they're on Conches.
It's not good enough.
It's actually weird as fuck. Like on the reread, I'm like, it is actually really weird. It is really weird that they don't have a conversation, and that she's like, me doing the work for Kurgan would just be like Leez understands what's going on, and she's trying to put the mission ahead. Like at the same time, like it doesn't take anything to talk to them, like him really at that point, or say anything else. And Leez is also pretty hot headed when it comes to people who screwed her over. So it's really weird.
It's also not consistent with the visions that he had in season 1.
Yeah, I still think that hasn't popped up yet, but that would be or that future's already been changed, because the future they always.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know if that future is necessarily gonna come to fruition still, but
usually whenever that happens, he always has an indication that tells us that's the case. So
yeah,
expected that to be consistent as well.
And no one's even like mentioned like it, I don't know, it's weird, but yeah, that's super weird. But going on to our line of questionings, first one is okay. So Akasha's dead. Like she died before she could give Maruna the Eye of Perishment. So the question is, who the fuck was that? Because Samfadi talks to him, right? After they do the set, so basically when they come back from Conches and like the few months have passed, and he's like, now fifth stage, she talks to him. She's like, dude, before the 7-year skip, when Half Dragon Boy Kasak threw her through the Crescent Gate, Akasha literally dies in front of Samfadi. Like, she has a spear through her neck protecting Samfadi. But yet, 7 years down the line, when what's-his-name goes to see her, she hands off the Eye of Perishment, and Samfadi is like, that makes no sense, my mother's dead. So I thought that was weird, unless she's now, like, for sure, like, oh, this is the Taraka Akasha that's been taken over and doing something in terms of service for Callie. That's why she has the Eye of Perishment. That's the only thing I can think of, but that's something I missed on the first read through. Like, Akasha was actually killed. So for her to be alive now, the only thing that I could see is her being a Taraka, and if not that, then something weird as fuck of maybe Callie is just impersonating her or something else. But yeah.
Welcome, Katan. How do you know it was? How do you know it was before she got thrown in the gate?
It was after she got thrown in the gate and got sent back to the short realm.
Okay.
Timelines are always super weird. This is N15, basically, if this happens. Or not necessarily probably exactly N15, but in between N15 and N23.
Possible it's just Kali being a bitch again.
Yeah. So it could have been Callie, or it's a Taraka Akasha now that gave Maruna.
I think it's
The eye
likely
of
that
punishment.
Maruna's gonna have to build up his whole fucking clan again with just Taraka
Yeah.
copies, to be honest. So I wouldn't be surprised if
That would be interesting if it is.
if
Yeah.
Akasha died, quote unquote, but isn't actually dead.
Because then my question would still
It might be under
curious
the
to-
control of the clan of the Taraka clan somehow,
Yeah.
just like Symphony was. So he has to like break.
There are some weird things about like overcoming that because Morocco from what we know, seems that he overcame his Taraka tendencies to a certain degree. Because the Garuda clan, the Gandhara clan still likes Morocco. So I'm just curious if she is one or if she's working for Callie, because the question would still be, how would she procure an Eye of Perishment still? Because they're like, I think most of them like they're kind of rare now. So that's just something that's keeping the brains down. Okay, but yeah,
The interaction between Maruna and Simpati that Miles is talking about is in episode is in season 3, episode 128. That's why I love y'all, man. This is what I need.
how you found that so fast?
No, I could do that with, you know what? I could do that with Tower God. If you just give me like a moment, I can pretty much know like within like a 5-chapter range exactly where it is and find it in under a minute. I used to be that good with One Piece, not anymore. But I appreciate this. You said, I do this a lot. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need. I need someone to be like, chapter 4, season 2, page 5, panel 9. That's what I need in my life. That's the kind of precision I want. You said, well, season 2. Oh, you know what? I'm about to go back. I'm about to go on the official.
Yeah, because it doesn't have on what's his name.
Kubari on it. Well, I use Kubari more often than I use MangaDex, but it only has up to. It pretty much starts with the special chapters and the weight of time there.
Okay, so it's the same
I know.
then.
Yeah. I went too far back, I think. Yes, I did. I can't count. It's okay. I'm learning, but keep going, Miles. Don't let me stop.
Okay.
Stop you. Find some thingies.
So this is a little bit of Anata stuff, okay? Mm-hmm. I didn't really think about really the bystander. I think I come to appreciate the concept of the bystander effect a lot more. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't really think too much of it, but it's literally because he's so strong that he could technically stop any and everything in the world, that he's the one that can take on the effect, right? Like that. Yeah. That's actually kind of cool because other people can, but they're not strong enough. So like, who's to say they should accumulate sins for? But then the question remains, why, right? Like, Cigar even like specifically says, I think this is when she's talking to Maruna in the actual space, where she's like, what she questions, she's like, why was he specifically made to be stronger than his creators? And I think that kind of even goes more to the credence that I think Anata is the only one stronger. I don't think the others are. Now, if you're talking about right now, maybe some are, because the primevals can get weaker as universes go on. Like Brahma gets weaker when she creates more stuff. Vishnu gets weaker when he does his time stuff. Kali's obviously weaker because her body's nearly destroyed and Shiva's gone. So obviously, like, they can get weaker. But to me, it seems like, yeah, Anata's the only one that is stronger because Cigar was making such a huge point of it. And I'm curious of, like, I used to think Anata was an accident, but I think his existence of being stronger was made with a purpose. Because
just real quick, did you think initially that was an accident? That Anata wasn't supposed. Okay, all right. I guess that's an interesting perspective. I never thought it was an accident, personally speaking. But keep going. You're talking about Anata, the creators.
Yeah, so the primevals can't take on sin. So like they're so removed from causality. So I feel like there's certain things that they can and can't do because of how removed from existence they are, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm curious if they specifically made someone so strong to take on the bystander effect because that was the only way in which to actually properly create this specific universe that has ancient humans. Mm-hmm. Okay? So ancient humans accumulate sins faster than any other race. Okay. Specifically. because since they reincarnate over and over again, their emotions and their feelings are so much stronger that the curses that they give to other people, or the sins, quote unquote, that they give to people, are a lot more deadly than anybody else. I think they make this specific point when they're talking about Raltara back in The Weight of Time, where they're like, yeah, she's just being, their sins are so strong that like while alive, she's just being literally crushed by them, and she's going to die a really terrible death. Uh, so I'm curious if because the ancient humans existed and they could probably foresee what was going to happen with them being destroyed and stuff, and like even them being like kind of made, it seems like being crushed like to dust, their sins would still remain in the universe, that like someone had to be there as basically like a trash can to take in all those sins, so they needed to make someone as strong as Anata for that, otherwise the universe just wouldn't be able to like maintain itself.
Christ.
And they said both those things suck. Fuck them. Get them out
Yeah.
of here.
So
Nike.
so that's kind of how I took it, because I don't know if different Anata like level creatures could exist in different universes. So I'm curious if like, because they won, these are the winners, and this is like the stipulations of how they exist comes to be. Them in this new universe then is like, how do we combat or create things based around the circumstance, and that's how Anata came to be. So that's just like, because I'm trying to like rationalize why is he, from what we know, he is made to be the strongest for a reason, and it doesn't seem to be for like order or like an executioner or whatever. Yeah, because they gave him the bystander effect for a reason. So I wonder if it's really like you're kind of like, you're the strongest, but like your little job as the strongest is just to absorb shit so like the universe can exist, which I think gives a little bit more tragedy to his character, because I think he talks about this like he's the strongest, but with nothing really to show for it.
Yeah. I think the effect would have remained even if the ancient humans existed or not, because the bystander position still remained after the extinction of the ancient humans. I think that's a fair point.
True, but I believe even still, the essence of their sins still remain in the universe, even though they're crushed. I think, I could be wrong. I think it's one of those things of like, the sins are like separated and diminished like greatly, but they still have metaphysical weight and effect on the universe. It's just that those aren't directed at anything specifically. It's kind of like throwing litter into the ocean and just polluting it. Yeah, it's kind of like they're self-polluting the universe in a sense. At least that's how I took it. So someone still needs to purify said ocean/universe.
Have you ever thought to yourself why they didn't maybe give themselves or one of themselves a name like that, or a god maybe instead of Asura?
Because it seems like they seemingly have to be removed from causality. Maybe that's because if they are somewhat tied to the mortal plane, maybe they can't reincarnate into the next universe.
Okay.
Because we don't know if they've ever done it before. Because it seems like what Callie's done is a really new thing, and we see the effects of her taking on a Asura name. Like she's like she literally doesn't like even like really have a body at this point. And she got affected by sins. So like, it seems like even if it could get them power, the benefits of that just aren't nearly as great as just being a pure primeval. Unless Callie's cooking up whatever, but even if Callie wins, she just wins in this singular universe. And she would just still have to restart in the next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think Kid Leez has the name Anata? So she offered a powerful name in order to weaken her, because Lee said that if she accepted a new name, it would overwrite her name.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was the implication that she for sure knew Lee's had that name, especially because Callie has such a control on power over names.
What is she cooking? Does she know? I can't lie to you. The one with Thanos with Brie Larson around his neck saying "titty nut" is crazy. But I seen last post out the other day. I said, "Bro, what?" But I've been asking myself this for the longest. Is it still weird that I think Callie's not as bad as everyone has made her out to be? I get all
I
these
agree.
secondhand reports. I need to hear it from the source myself. All right.
I agree with you, actually.
I'm still anti Visnu, bros. I'm sorry. I'm still anti Visnu.
So it's really fuck all the primeval, but like,
Like, I don't know. She was not.
I'm anti Brahma.
She was not here, so it don't matter. Give me
But
Shiva. I don't like Brahma either. I really don't. I can't stand her. I've been using this.
okay,
It is
heck,
peak
uh,
imp behavior. It's crazy. Am I like for me, right? When I think about like Anata's kind of reasoning for existence or whatever, I almost think that maybe the purpose of giving him the title or like being the strongest being in the universe was maybe meant to imbue him with a sense of pride and things of that nature. But maybe because of Anata's personality, naturally, he never looked at it that way. Where it's like I'm the strongest, but like what's really my purpose? I don't know if he ever fully found meaning in life in that sense. But on top of that, like you said, I think his existence is a bit of a cruel existence. Where like you're so strong and you can kind of like punch and flick everyone to oblivion if you wanted to, type of thing. But like your actual like mechanical design here is to kind of take on sins. That's it. Like
yeah,
you don't like beyond that. We don't necessarily care about you, your emotions, your feelings, everything you go through, which is kind of tragic. I really do think he's a bit of a tragic character, though. I can understand why somebody might not look at that because he is technically the strongest being in the universe. Do you also think Callie gave Leez her transcendental of taking over the body of your past self? Because there are so many instances of Leez just blinking out and doing stuff since S1. Yes, I actually agree. I can answer that one myself. I think so. What do you guys think? I do. Yeah. There's a lot of moments where she do something like kind of like almost like she's in a trance or in a daze. I think most of those instances, if not all of those, is a version of the future Kubera taking her over. I can't think of too many beyond the one with that where Asha was like, "Who are you?" But I think there was a couple other instances. But again, I have to reread to refresh my memory on that.
possibly. I think if I'm remembering certain things you're talking about that you both might be thinking about, I think it's kind of one of those weird things of like you could take it as that because I think the initial implication on the first read is like she's just kind of like her magic abilities are just kind of like coming out in certain like instances of like stress and shit, but that could be her. But I can't think of like specifics, but it's like one of those general things where I think I know what you're talking about.
Mm. No, Callie's definitely bad. Her own flashback Vishnu was telling her, "You may think it's just to fight against us, but to the creatures of a dying universe, you are nothing more than evil." But that's his
Perspective.
perspective of that in his point of view of what other people think about her. That's not necessarily the truth. I don't wanna like overstate that like necessarily like, oh, she's a good person with great intentions for the universe. I'm not saying necessarily she's a good guy. That's not my point. My point is I think that they've over embellished how bad of a person she is and how much disorder and chaos she descends into this souls into the universe, and that she's just pure evil and nothing she does is good. I think basically like I'm a believer expect the unexpected. The people that you don't expect certain behaviors from, you'd be effing shocked.
I
I
And
mean,
the
agree.
ones you
based on what
expected from, I'm not saying not to expect it, but it's probably not as bad or as prominent as you think. That's
I
basically
mean,
what I'm
based
saying.
on what her attribute in the universe is, it's chaos. That should mean equal measure good, equal measure bad, or
Yep.
random amount of both.
Mm.
Yep.
Which so far, I'm actually inclined to believe the things that gods that are not primevals have said about her. Like Kubera saying you want to destroy anything more powerful than you, that's facts to me. I don't think there's any way to disprove that, especially when he was literally speaking to Callie when it was happening. But I think she did actually want to have a son out of maternal love and ulterior motive, both
She
at the
Yeah,
same
definitely.
time.
she speaks like she has
You
there's
use her
some form
compos. I
of
know that. I
lover
put
or
stuff in the
love that she
compos myself.
has. Like when she's talking to Lee's and she's just
Okay.
kind of like, I understand what damage that does to a person. So obviously there's certain parts of her
And
that
I do think that she will be one of the final villains in the story, but I think she'll be more nuanced than she's presented
yeah,
as now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there's any way, shape, or form she becomes a
gotta
protagonist in any way.
kill all primevals.
And I agree. I think that's partially the reason why Shiva's not going to be in the story, because Shiva's not going to do anything wrong. So Vishnu, I don't know about Vishnu, but Brahma and Kali are going to be got out, or they're going to be taken out the paint at some point.
Well, I guess it depends on how you view what Shiva did, or if you think Rautara took over Shiva during the Cataclysm.
Who knows?
Okay.
Uh,
Um.
Also,
Wait. What's on? What's what I'm thinking? Speak on it. There's a time in the watch. I know what she kills Tarakas and makes you to watch. Remember that. What you just saw for was your future self. A kind of goaded bozo Diablo. Nah, don't feel better, man. Go ahead though. Go ahead. Continue.
I was gonna say just the keep on the primevals for one hot sec. All primevals have actually two attributes. But they're always considered for their one, which is kind of weird. So I was just curious if you guys had thoughts on what you think. I think it was kind of reference to that Vishnu's and Kali's both are time. Though I think a distinction, I think Kali's more future time and Vishnu's more past time. Not to say they can't interact with either one, because they obviously can't, but I think it's like more domain specific. But like obviously they're both time. So I'm curious if what you guys think Brahma's and Shiva's could be your second attribute.
Like, well, I don't know. Specifically, that's a good question. Brahma. Why don't I want to say Brahma's just creation and destruction for some reason? That's hard. Do we know? Do we know Vishnu's and Kali's at all? The second ones or no?
We don't know, but I think it's highly implied that they're both time.
And I mean what?
Well, Kali would be chaos in time, and Vishnu would be resurrection in time.
Okay. So Kali's chaos and time. Vishnu is time and what? It's I guess resurrection. That's a good question.
Well, Vishnu's source is resurrection. His second would be time. Yeah, but yeah.
I don't have a good guess for that, but I want to go with this kind of destruction and creation with Brahma, because I just feel like Brahma's like, all right, this didn't work. Just destroy it, reset to zero. You guys are a defective product. I gotta make a new line. I'm like, bro, why are you like this?
That makes sense.
I don't know about Shiva. I don't know so much Shiva to do with that one. Doesn't exist to me. I can't think of Shiva. She was one of those time memories I can't really remember.
It's literally so whack that he's not in the story, because I guarantee he'd be the best primeval, and it wouldn't be close.
I need a good reasoning for that, honestly.
I don't know if I would agree with that, actually.
But isn't resurrection the same as time?
No.
I don't. No.
I think they consider resurrection
Shiva is
healing.
secretly Phantominium. That's kind of like the comparison I'm making. Why I do think it's a little
different. Partially
different.
Also the reason why it's fuck blog posts, even if it's from her season for me.
Resurrection is basically healing. I mean, I guess semantics. Like, it's like okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I mean, right? Like, I get the greater point. I'm not mad at it. Where it's like, okay, if I have legitimate healing magic, I could like, close the wound and make the red blood cells, like whatever, right? But like, if I'm just like rewinding time, I'm putting you back into a state where like you didn't receive the wound, so to speak. But it's not healing technically. If that makes sense. But I think it's just a semantic game. I get your point, but I'm not. I don't know. That's just how
it's both. It's like both, because like Ashvin, who's the resurrection goddess and is more like healing, took over Vishnu's domain of resurrection. They had a temple of resurrection for Vishnu, but Hoti Vishnu actually operates as if rewinding time, but it still is classified as resurrection. So like, it's both. It's for all intents and purposes both.
Resurrection basically healing is Hoti Vishnu resurrection or time. To learn resurrection magic, you have to study up on time logic. Is that true? I might not know that.
Yeah, that is true. Because when Rand was explaining to Rana, he's like, I know you studied more about this time shit in university, so you should understand this better. She's like, yeah.
You gotta take into account how Vishnu's spell works, so you understand resurrection. I forgot about that part. I forgot. I didn't know that. You had to know healing to know time, or time to know healing, whatever. So that's on me then. Never mind. Hoti Vishnu basically rewinds time. Yeah, damn. I still, you still got my point though. What I meant though, right?
Yes.
We're like, I think rewinding somebody back to a previous state and quite literally, I don't know, accelerating their healing factor or something. It's like semantics though, because the result's the same, but
Yeah,
time distortion and healing isn't the same thing to me. But I got you guys. I get it.
it gets the job done.
Yeah. All right. Here's another one.
Look at my attribute, lol.
Uh,
That's what it is.
oh no, we already did the abyss creature thing.
What could
Okay.
Brahma Second actually be? Well, I went with destruction.
I know she's considered the god of creation and order, but I don't think order is a fucking magic. So destruction could be possible because she murks her own creations. So
that's really like what I'm just using us like in story moment to kind of say that like I don't know for sure though. I couldn't tell you. But that's just my best creation and destruction. Well, all right, Miles, next.
this isn't really a question. This is just it is kind of, but it's just one of those like weird like notice things. Maybe we'll get it, or maybe it's not that big of a deal. But like, kind of like the way in which they like reference or talk about time is kind of interesting because it's always put in quotation marks every fucking time when they say like time, but sometimes it's referred to as a person, or sometimes it's just referred to as just kind of like a thing or like concept, but like still in reference, like because when Chandra talks to him, Ran, he said which time like helped you or whatever, and he's like, is it Vishnu, Kali, or Anata? And this is like in D500. And then even later on with Leez, I forget which specific instance it is. I think maybe it's when she goes to hug behind Yuta. But when they see her, they say, truly a particular time. Which to me, that's why I reference like, even more of like her having the Anata shit going on at that time. Because she's classified in the same as time, which has only been referenced as Vishnu, Anata, or Kali. Which, I mean, we've already kind of seen with her literally ripping open time portals and shit. But I guess it's just one of those things of like, is time some greater thing maybe in the story that we're not thinking about? Or is it literally just that these guys have time power, so they just call them time?
The Temple of Time is the thing that kind of makes me kind of think on along the lines of you, where there was like this weird thing. I know it was, I think we ultimately was a shedding or whatever. I think it ended up being. I'm not entirely sure, but I do think that time might be a greater concept that's beyond a lot of people, and maybe Kali and Vishnu just have the most synergy with it. If that makes sense, and thus those kind of, like the time magic and attribute is kind of attributed to them. I don't know. It's hard to say 100%. It's kind of what I'm thinking, but I would honestly wouldn't put it past like Vishnu maybe actually being like the first Prometheus who could kind of like do time things. Maybe Kali learned
Right.
it too. What did you say? What was it you said? You think that Vishnu is more what future and then Kali's more past, or did you reverse it? I can't remember what you said.
Reverse. I think I said Vishnu's a little bit more past and Kali's a little bit more future. Because whenever we're talking about like at least deal wise, Kali's always talking about like, oh, I'll take something from your future.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those things. And Vishnu doesn't seem to really do much in the future. He sees it because he obviously makes changes, but like he's changing things as they come, and like it seems like he does a lot more past stuff because we always see him in the past and things like that. And Hoti Vishnu is literally rewinding time. So that's not to say they can't affect the other forms of time, but it seems like their domain is dealing more specifically like with that in terms of their actual power.
Chat said, but Vishnu is always talking about the future.
All the gods are.
That's kind of a good point. I guess I kind of talk about the possibilities and everything. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Did I miss this?
And
Anata
I guess going
also tells Maruna that he's close with time. Maruna immediately associates with Vishnu, but Anata just smiles and shrugs without confirming. Timey-wimey. Rewindy. Anata also tells Maruna to eliminate being associated with time. Yo.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Bring that up, but we can get into that now.
Y'all know me.
That to me is
Y'all know me.
weird.
I don't mess with time. Destroy them all. Go ahead.
No, I actually did have that because that's a really important point that Keen even brought up because it's he says that he says he literally tells him this when he has the soul in his hand and he's popping it up to Maruna. He's like, you have to destroy everything associated with time, and I'm like, so does Maruna
This
have
is
to?
around the time he saw his younger self with the
Yes.
snowflake apple. Yes, I remember this. This is
So
recent.
I'm like, one, if we're talking about that, and he's considered close with time and stuff, would that mean Maruna would have to kill for sure, seemingly Lee's because she's considered a particular time? Uh, Ran and hurt everybody that's traveling through time. Would he even have to kill himself? I feel like it's an extremely dangerous like thing that was asked, but it's kind of given off in like like when people speak super cryptic, so you don't think too much about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, are you asking this guy to kill fucking everybody?
No, I don't think so. I think well here's how I'll say it. I think that's one way of interpreting it, right? Hold on, let me just read the comments. Okay, I think his like words were to kill anyone that could tamper with time. For me, beings who mess with time basically ripples the time so much so Anata could never truly succeed in any timeline, so sins pile up. That's interesting, actually. I'm gonna circle back to that. Um, I don't think he's saying that anyone who's ever time traveled in the history of ever necessarily go on and kill them. Do you think that the words "kill anyone that could tamper with time" could be interpreted differently? As in,
Mm-hmm.
if you have the power to displace me from time and you send me through time, I can't actually time travel. You did it to me. Aren't you the one tampering with time? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So it's
So
like
you think he could
people
be
with the
talking about
power or
time
the
as
ability
himself?
to actually literally displace themselves and travel through time are the ones that are problem. I'm not even saying that's a right or wrong. I'm just saying that's probably a way you could look at it. That's all.
Or now that you even said that, he could even talk about like tampering with time, as we said, because it's classified as person. So maybe like if you tamper with me, Vishnu or Kali, even maybe it's like there's certain things that have to be remain constant. That
Or
if you
if
fuck
you are
with,
displaced through time and
yeah,
you know certain things about history, do not tamper with it. Let the history play out the way it's supposed to. I don't know. It's a good question. But Maruna technically may have no. He didn't because I'm with you guys where I think that he was always meant to save her the Senpati the way that he did. But
yes,
yeah, it's interesting to think about, man. Or you
and
could
then just
just
even like,
take away their
sorry,
powers, i.e., take away the attribute with so much. Sorry, for being. Oh, sorry. I'll circle back to that. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, in just the last point about time is you were even saying like this weird thing of like it's the only attribute that seems to have like its own existence and rules within the universe. And when I say that, it's like the records of time is like its own separate dimension.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We don't see like, I mean, I guess if you're gonna say the underworld's like the actual representation of like the death attribute and stuff like that, maybe. But like, there's literal just pockets, dimensions of like times where like you can read records of time where time is literally self-recording itself. So in some ways, it does seem like
It's a greater
far
concept
greater than
beyond
just
anyone,
yeah,
even the primevals.
yeah.
So hold on. So he said, for me, for being too much of time basically ripples the timeline so much, so Anatha could never truly succeed in any timeline, so sins pile up. So hold on, let me see if I understand that. So are you saying that because there's so many people who are just doing a bunch of stuff throughout time, here or there, whatever, Anata could never truly kind of do what he needs to do because people are just basically there's too many time travelers? Is that what you're saying?
Hmm.
Or are you saying that because there's people who can go back in time and do stuff in a weird way, sins kind of stack up and pile up more because there's stuff coming from the present time, and then people from the present time going back in time, causing a kind of uptick in sins, so to speak. Is that what you're saying? I could be misinterpreting that. That's it. Okay, I got you.
Hmm.
That's interesting to think about, honestly. Like, I'm trying to think of an example that would work in this series, but I'm trying to think of like I don't know, like I'm chilling in like whatever year. Woo! And he threw me back in time, and like I do some weird stuff. And then when I come back to the present time, it's like what I did in the past, kind of like hits Anata. I don't know. It's interesting to think about. But I guess too many time travelers could mess with what you're trying to do if they're rewriting stuff what you're doing. So not only the Speed Force, it's in season 3 episode 1216. Babokin translating destroy every being that could intervene in time. Then only then will your universe survive. That's it. That's interesting. Let me look at that for a second. But yeah, don't worry. We always use Bible Kims over here. We're not using. Listen, aligned webtoons is very unserious. Okay, if it's even honestly low key, if I'm being honest, even the ones that come out in English, we having some egregious typos. There's a chapter of Purple Hyacinth I was reading. I'm like, ain't no way, boy. What was I doing again? Looking for something.
Oh my gosh.
Related. What?
I forgot I had photos, and this is just going back to the Kubera thing of like, for sure she doesn't. Her village was destroyed. I don't have the chapter. Yeah, I have this, but she literally says. I think this is right after she's. I think this is like right as she's talking to Claude, and she finds out her name. She literally says, "There was a time when I tried to not wake up from a dream, even though I knew it was a dream. I asked them to stay with me." And it's her as a 15-year-old with her mother and her mother's two friends around her. And it's like, from what I can see, a referencing of like, she knew this entire time that they weren't real. She just pretended it wasn't the case, which would stack up with Leez, who can literally trick her own mind into believing or forgetting shit.
Happens all the time. That was the whole issue in season 1 and 2. That's
Yeah.
why she could control her so easily. Or she's trying to break out of that mold. Which is probably why she said to Kubera when she met him again, "You're as incompetent as ever," because the mental transcendental didn't work. It might have never worked.
Yeah, that's actually possible.
A terrible notion, isn't it? If you don't want that, stop it before it happens. Destroy every being that can intervene in time.
No, I'd have to check and see
Only
if certain
then
statements made in season 1
will
line up.
your universe survive. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of is like bordering retconish territory, so I don't want to gas it up too quickly until I see it again.
Hold on. Can I ask a question real quick? Reading this chapter, right? He says, "The reason I'm not exterminating you today is because I believe that they will come when the cycle is broken." And it says, "The day I completely disappear from this universe completely." But cycle is broken. I almost want to say it's the time travel stuff that keeps happening with everybody having to go through this journey. I wonder. I don't know. Anyway,
Yes.
sorry.
So I'm like, do they have to die? But it seems like that's what's making shit kind of go right, especially with Lee's is like kind of acting as Vishnu, where she's going through different timelines and seeming like plugging shit up. I don't know. You know, time travel shit's always just so fucking weird, bro.
I love it.
Hold on, wait.
I love it.
Check out the ending of season 3, episode 28.
Yeah. The webtoon in the mud always. It was okay for a while to the point that Scanlazy group stopped. I think the first 2 seasons maybe for the most part was fine. Miles said it earlier, but check out the ending of season 3, episode 68, and then the interaction between Leez and Kaz in season 3, episode 73. I always thought
so the end of 68, I just looked at it. It's literally when she's throwing not a tantrum, but a tantrum in the bar, and she's talking to Claire. And she's like, it's when she's holding her mom's hand. Her mom's kind of shadows out. She's like, who the fuck, like, basically raised you? Like, who brought you up? If the people weren't there. And then
I remember bury that one.
I remember.
You remember? I remember.
I remember.
Remember Luke Skywalker? I remember.
on.
If only you had it. Yeah, she's like going crazy in her head here. Yeah.
Hold on. So, hold on, because in some
Making up stories about the
it
dead.
must have been.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
When she's talking in Kaz in episode 73, she's like, it must have been difficult growing up for 10 years besides a weird girl. And Kaz looks like he's being figured out. And then she kind of catches it, but then she's like, oh yeah, because I was so violent. And he's like, yeah. He's like, did you think I was talking about something else? He was like, no. Wait, what is that implication saying? So was Kaz actually not there that entire time either?
I don't know. There's something weird going on here because I'm looking at it right now.
This is why my brain hurts.
I have another thing about Kaz later on that I actually wanted to talk about because I noticed something about An Abyss and I was like, wait, what the fuck? But this part is weird.
Yeah, because like right here. Okay, let's go back to this for a second. Just said the part you're talking about. If not, hold on. People have been whispering about your fake stories in the last few days. You know, Anna hides who you said was your mother, few friends, blah blah. Was a fighter at friend's house. If you knew why, tells us obvious lies. You have no shame. She died in N5. Think of disgusting stories. Clary the goat speaking facts. You know what I'm saying?
Shut the hell up.
I heard a dangerous mission. There's nothing much to survive for 7 years in the sewer realm. Still, you know, Kaz. It must have been difficult growing up for 10 years beside a weird girl. You're right. His face like panics here and he's sweating. And she looks like, you know, it's just that I was so violent back then. I shouldn't have hit you even if we were really close. I'm sorry. That's what you meant. Of course, what I meant. Do you think I was talking about something else? No. I thought that was it too. And it's like, yeah, there's more to him, man. Fuck Clary. Why are you guys hating on her?
You are so trash for this
gospel truth. I will say this because this is a part I had about Kaz later. That's not long. An Abyss. Okay. With the Ida Etu book, remember like how Kaz rips out a page and Lee's just like, why'd you do that and shit like that? He rips out the page about Kubera. And then specifically, if you look back, when Kubera shows up in front of them, Kaz is like visibly like distraught and like upset when Kubera takes Lee's. As if like he knew this was going to happen. Or really wanted to avoid it.
One of those oracle divinations kind of thing?
Like at that young age, it seemed like he knew. Because he ripped out the page, seemingly hoping she wouldn't summon him. And then when he does show up, he's literally like, fuck, we're screwed. And this is, what, 6-year-old Kaz?
I need to know what happens to Anna more than those other shit, to be honest.
Well, Anna's
like, what the fuck? Like, did you just leave? Why are you leaving this village? Why are you saying that you can't talk to the god? What the fuck are you doing? Why is your face always shadowed?
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, she already kind of hinted at it when they talked about Jabril. What she say? Sometimes, like, even though like the intentions may be unclear, like parents do love their kids or some shit. She definitely left Lee, so it's one of those things. Whatever. But
what the hell are you doing, ho? Stop tripping.
It was Miles. I said it earlier, but we looked at it already. I thought the village always a mental transcendental in season 1. I think that's fair. Those two of these village, Papa Kubera raised there. Who from the people we have seen have the ability to intervene with time? I think we talked about that. I think we already talked about that, right?
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that either. When me and Miles were convinced last week, like Jabril wasn't dead. Apparently, this bitch is just dead. After all that shit.
I was gonna say this is actually probably the first time ever where I'm like, I just generally don't like something. I was like, I think it's a really bad like death.
Like just dying because lifespan suck from Kubera because she's it's like because I agree. I think it's lame.
And also when you're kind of getting
and also I don't think it's poorly. I think it's poorly done as well.
Yeah. And the fact that like whenever you have a death and you're not sure if someone dies, like, but that's not the intention of like, oh, maybe this person can come later because we know she actually dies this year. It's just kind of like, oh wait, that was why? Question mark. I don't know. That was pretty bad to me. I don't know.
Was Leez meant as a sacrifice to die in the conflict? So she is taken out of she was taken out of Kubera. Wait, what? So she is taken out of Kubera war early. I don't know, but I did want to touch on something else you said. Sorry, when she said it looked like she was testing Kaz. I actually do think two things. I think there's two things that you put in my head. One, she was low key fishing for information, hoping she would tell her what really happened as a child or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I think she's confused about it. Or two, she has some type of idea about it or knows it or inclination, and she wanted to see if he would admit it or like come clean. I think the way she said it, looked at it, and then he said, and the way he panicked, then she threw out like, it's because I was so violent. And then he was like, yeah,
No,
you know,
no,
like,
I'm saying. Yeah.
right, yeah, like, I don't know, that's interesting. It's a very important moment, man.
Because she knows shit that
Kaz is
she
weird,
hasn't.
bro.
Lee's has known shit since season 3 that she hasn't told anybody else.
Mhm.
That Yuta probably knows too. Like, there's a bunch of shit the two of them are hiding.
Leaving the village, I thought, was the same as Jabril leaving Brilith in the ruins. They wanted the kids to be in a place where it seems no humans could live in order to avoid the Sur attack. So you actually think they were trying to protect the children by doing that? Like leaving them somewhere where it's obviously not like survivable necessarily, but that's because Suros wouldn't think to attack there. That's a fair point of
Just
view,
give
but
me an
that would mean
explanation. That's all I
Anna
want.
knew the losers would destroy the village and was sure they wouldn't kill Leez.
The question is, why the fuck do the losers want them? Like, that's really weird.
I mean, it might have something to do with Kubera's being the name of the god from the previous universe, so that might be like
Are they salty?
he's a
He's the
loser
winner?
he's a loser that got away, even though he wasn't supposed to, because he's not a human. Unless he's like a human that ascended to godhood or some shit like that.
I think they specific. Maybe I don't think they never specifically stated, but I think the implication was he was one of the. Was it? No, actually, no. They never really said he was one of because we know
That's
the
a
ancient
good
demons,
point,
but-
Catan. Like, if from my memory, it looks like they were after Brilith,
Yeah, that is actually true.
and Brilith is guys the soul of an ancient human. Do you think that's the variable that we didn't consider before?
Because she's a winner and they're losers.
She's a winner, and
There you go.
they hate
Yeah.
the motherfuckers.
They have their
Yeah.
hating ass bitches, so they're just trying to get her.
Basically.
And
And
yeah,
Rand
it's so
took,
weird when you have all these
and
other
Rand
factors.
took her
of, like-
village. Took her to the village, which was his mistake. And why aren't gods ever mentioning the losers?
That's really weird that no gods have ever mentioned any losers.
Propaganda. I'm kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's God
You're
propaganda.
so trash.
That's been my favorite word for the weekend.
Propaganda.
That has sucked the longest hair in my ass. But anyways, go ahead.
Hmm.
Then the secret bear was a human who
Interesting.
ascended to godhood. The god of Earth? I don't remember that at all.
I don't know if it was ever specifically stated, but I think it's just super implied.
Oh yeah, the losers show up in a temple near Billith, and Curry got mentioned. How did she survive until Rand found her or something?
Cause I got quite a few.
Nanjare. I don't know.
I got
My source, I faded the fuck up. There you go. You making shit up in the chat. Like, I don't remember that.
We'll get back to some of this stuff. Before we do more of this, I'm gonna just go back to this isn't really a thing, but I remember we had this convo about Ushas and stuff, and like even like potentially what her elements are and stuff. I can't remember who said it, but they think she had all three of fire, light, and sky. I do want to make this known. Usha specifically told I can't remember whoever. I think it might have been Paltry or whatever. But she said Aruna is actually closer to Dawn than her. So I think that's confirmation that she probably doesn't have all three elements, probably just two. And I think that if she reaches fifth stage, she might have gotten that third, which would have made her true Dawn. Or maybe she gets the three and they combine to make the Dawn element, whatever the fuck that could be. I don't know, but I just want to say that. And we still need to know what Dawn does, because obviously Dawn is an extremely important thing, even to the point that Indra got mad. Maybe you need it to make the universe better. I have no fucking clue. But yeah, it's just things to think about.
Wait, sorry. Excuse me. Wait, the god of Earth was actually implied to be human. I remember that boot
Yeah,
statement that they weren't a god level item. That's interesting.
That's why I've always had the idea that he's a human that was ascended to godhood.
because there's
Instead
no
of a
gods
mortal
in the
form.
previous universe. That's what it seems
Yeah.
to be.
Like they
Because
raised him up to the level of godhood somehow.
And Agni was from the previous universe
That's
as
why
well.
I also think it's a possibility that since he's losing his name, Leez might take his spot as God of Earth. But I'm not sure if that's like set in stone.
Lees would never.
I'm just saying, might be forced upon her.
Founder. So he
Yeah.
thought Kubera was a whole human. People theorized until she provided the Agni, but it looked like there was a smoke or ash floating around here. I think it's because he wasn't a god in the previous universe. I think maybe Tara said it from when Lees was asking about the
Or
boots,
else
and
Sierra might be ascended.
Agni told Lees the boots weren't a god level item. Yeah, you're right. That's why I knew he was previously human. Big brain. They said big brain. Okay, Miles, you just said what? Sorry.
What did I say?
You were talking about
Oh, I just said
Usha's
also.
Dawn, not all the attributes I think you were talking about. Sorry,
Yeah, because she said Maruna was actually closer to
closer to
Dawn than
Dawn.
even her.
Yeah.
So I think she might get that third element if she reached fifth sin,
Mm.
or maybe she gets the third and they combine to reach Dawn. But obviously, Dawn is some. I don't want to say it's as important as time, but this I feel like this is the only other time we've gotten an element or title of something where it actually be given with gods that seems to have some greater purpose outside. Because even Indra got super pissed when his Dawn got taken, and she literally moved like something like a Dawn power to Aruna to replace his own Dawn thing.
Mm.
So maybe that's also a requirement for the best universe. I don't know, but there's something there that needs to be taken into account. That's all I'll
Crimson
say.
Sunshine of
Ushas
Dawn,
Kun.
baby.
Is Maruna still wearing Raytri's cloak as well?
No.
I'm fairly certain he is. So what the fuck is that black thing around his neck still?
I don't.
A choker.
Is it? Because I know at least for a
Well,
fact when he comes
it's
back
not in
to
his Sura form, but it's in his regular form
yeah.
still. Because he was
So that-
wearing it when he came into Walarv.
Is he? I
But
could have sworn he wasn't wearing
He
it.
doesn't have it in the current time. He still has it right now.
I was gonna say when he's talking to Agni, I could have sworn he doesn't have it.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he has it right now, in like the
Oh,
story that
okay.
we're like part of the story that we're in now. So I'm like, when's he gonna give that back?
It's like snow on the beach, weird but fucking
Because
beautiful.
especially because he's in Shura form this entire time until he undoes it when he's with uh when he comes on the ground, and we see him when he actually comes back as a human. So yeah, that's a really small time frame for him
He did
to.
what to the ground? On the ground?
He threw it on the ground.
That's not what he said.
That's like
I don't even know you caught that. I'm sorry. No, you go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm just childish.
you good, bro? You good?
Bro, you said he came on the ground. So why he's doing that?
He's like
You good?
Steve-O, busting on the floor.
That's crazy. Keep, I'll have to take off, dude. Keep talking.
Okay. What is this? What's this fucking next question? Okay. Oh well, this is actually kind of important.
Sucks.
Well, you know what? I'll let you go fuck yourself.
I couldn't even.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. I'm gonna wait a hot second. Okay. I just gotta come back. You know what? Actually, I'll say it. Well, fuck him. Okay. So, Glam, we understand that Garuda kills his kids, right? Because he's recycling the name Maruna, right?
Yeah, he's a stand-up parent.
Okay. This actually makes sense, but at the same time makes no fucking sense. Okay.
Because he's apparently a nice guy with friends and shit.
No, I wasn't even gonna say that because At least with the friend things, they've even like kind of said it. I can't remember who said it about Vishnu. I think it was who
Vishnu's
said
not the
it.
problem. It's post Manaka marriage Gandharva and Shuri that are the problem.
No. I forgot who said it, but someone specifically says Vishnu actually never liked Gandharva. He was just doing it for the betterment of the future. And since Shuri basically always tagged along with Vishnu, to me, I think it's very implied that Vishnu told Shuri you have to be friends with him for the future. And I think Garuda probably just was a part of that as well. Like, I don't think any of them actually liked Gandharva. I think it was generally just to, like, create that relationship for, like, the best possible future.
No.
At least for sure with Vishnu and Shuri, that's what they say. I would have just assumed the same with Garuda.
Nah, Shuri will be like, oh man, he's actually kind of spitting. We need him for real, for real.
No, don't do my girl like that. But with the Garuda part, they killed off Maruna's older siblings that already existed, and many that came after. And the reason why they want to do that is because the Aruna name is like a file that gets passed around. But my thing
Is
is,
Lonely Island those guys who said I used to jizz in my pants? Is that them?
That's Dick in a Box, guys.
Oh,
yeah,
never mind. Sorry. Continue.
Although that might be the same thing.
Oh.
yeah. So if there's this wait list. If you give birth to a kid and he takes a name that isn't Aruna, why the fuck do you have to kill him? Just keep going with the names until Aruna pops up. Like I don't get where the actual murdering of the kids and siblings actually doesn't make sense, because what does that have to do with the file? The name would still get moved alive or dead.
I'm not gonna lie, this Garuda clan intrigue does not move me. Anytime I read about it. I'm gonna be straight up dead ass. I really don't care about the fate of this clan until Maruna becomes king.
Well, I mean, we need that name, Maruna.
Do you think that is acceptable behavior?
Thank you,
Yes.
Corey. Like,
I
why
do.
would you kill the older ones as well? Like, they already have the name. Like, the name isn't on file, obviously, for them. Like, why are you...
See, that is a little excessive.
Calavinka's alive.
That's a little
Like,
excessive.
Calavinka's
You're not
alive.
He's
wrong.
a hater.
But think about it. It's like, so the name is on file, so it's like, okay, when a kid is born, the name moves up one because, like, you give the names. But why would you have to kill that kid? That kid doesn't have the name. The name is still on file. Why are you killing people for names when the name is still on file? Just give birth to more people. If anything, he should be overpopulating with kids, not killing them all for the sake of him. What is that? The only one that you would ever have to kill is the one that gets the name Aruna and is just trash. That's it.
He's trash.
Unless it's because, like, he has to... Oh, wait, I think I actually got it now. Because he would have to kill all of them. Because if the name does come up, it would instantly recycle back to him. Because if another kid is killed... Okay, I get it. No, it actually makes sense. Okay, I'm dumb. So let's say he has 20 siblings.
Why is he creaming
Listen.
himself over this one name in particular anyway?
Because it literally gave a first stage Rakshasa the strength of a Nastica.
I mean, what's lost is lost, bro. Quit
That's kind of OD.
quit
like,
fucking crying over this lost name.
I don't know, man. Fuck, I wouldn't. It actually makes sense, okay?
I need that name, bro.
I need that name.
I need that strength in my clan. Are you crazy? Are you stupid? Are you dumb? I need that.
Yeah. Wait.
I need it.
Yeah.
I think this actually makes sense, okay?
It
It actually makes sense why he kills you. Shut the fuck up. The reason why he has to kill the older ones as well, right? If he has 8 older siblings and 8 younger siblings, right?
Yeah.
And that 9th younger sibling gets the name Maruna, and he's trash. You gotta body him, right? Then the name would recycle to
what
the top.
Fuck?
The name would recycle.
If he's trash, you gotta body him. Right?
It is what it is.
You don't have the faculties for that, big man. you gotta
You don't have
take
the
him from.
facilities for that one, big man.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You have to, okay? The name then gets recycled to the oldest sibling, right? So the oldest sibling would have that name, and it can't go down the line unless you murk them. So the older ones have to die. because as soon as the name gets recycles, it can instantly go back to Maruna. So it actually makes sense why you would kill the oldest ones, but it actually doesn't make sense why you would kill the younger ones. Just fuck them. It would just instantly get recycled. Like that doesn't matter.
Maybe he just likes fratricide.
Okay.
Think of that.
I mean, birds do kick their young off the nest, and some get murdered.
Fucking learn to fly and shit. Don't be a
Okay.
pussy.
And then I just want to say we also don't know if this is the case. How many more dead Rakshasas are left for like Maruna to get the name Maruna? Like how many more like waitlisted dead kids does he need? Like are we one off away from him getting the name Maruna? Like how close are we?
Maybe Maruna and Symphadi's kid that they're definitely gonna have is gonna get the name.
You mean that trash Upanani? No.
Damn.
I'm with the Kasha. I'm not having no Upanani grand.
Bro,
kids.
the fucking the trend of the Garuda clan is everyone that's a stage lower is actually as strong as a stage higher than them. So what's the problem?
I mean, it's only with Garuda's kids because all Garuda's kids are raw.
Yeah, and then the grandkid will have it too because the grandkid will be raw.
Fuck no, he won't.
Chocolates. I always hated it.
Super losers was not harmful only to Brilliant, and Brill was never in danger. Rather, from their perspective, Ran was the one disturbing them. That's interesting. A Garuda just pumping out kids to murk them. That's crazy. He's a child murdering psycho. Don't have much to grasp on, but there's something about their status being the winner and loser.
Not my Nastica.
I don't know. I think the Garuda clan might be the clan that I have the least interest in, but I do have a great deal of interest in Garuda and then the three siblings and the three siblings.
I hate Garuda. That nigga's a loser.
I don't, I think the reason that I don't dislike him, even with the little bit that I know about him, I know he's he's not it. But what Anata said about him, I'm like, I respect that. When he's like, no matter what timeline I'm in, really possibility, you are never afraid to step to me. I respect.
I mean,
that.
he's stronger than Yaksha.
I'm just saying. My point is just I like that he's Anata is strong, blah blah. Well, I'ma still step to you and disagree with you openly, whatever the case is. I can respect that. That's kind of all I have.
I'm a bird.
I also like his design. So, Wilding out here.
You're only saying that
wow, greater wisdom. Lord Miles is trying to preach the Tao, the eternal Tao. He's teaching us Taoism. What's going on?
The eternal Tao.
I feel like I know the most about Taoism in here.
That is crazy.
He's right. I'm in one of those moods. Just what I'm saying, I gotta spice it up. How can you be the least interested in the Garuda clan? Maruna, Yuta, Kalavinka are Garudas.
Ryuta's half, so you already lose half the point.
True, but I guess the way that I see it is they're top heavy. I just care about those three and the dad really. Well, Kasha's what I'm saying, right?
Nah.
Whereas you take the Vitra clan, every dragon I've seen matters. All of them, every single one, every single Kroha, raw, Kasak, yes sir, Taksaka, talk to me nice. I'm sorry,
they don't count.
That no, they count to me, but
they count.
But the actual clan's cool. You know what? I'm gonna rescind that. The Anata clan, I care about the least. From top to bottom.
Don't do that. Don't do
top
that.
There we go. He's spitting.
From top to bottom. So Garuda clan's up one notch for them. I actually forgot about that.
I'm not gonna lie. Reread, they're actually they're a lot more fun.
I agree with you because even with the little research that I was doing for the Yaksha video that I put out with Saha and some other things that I've been looking at, I'll sure applaud G. He's flying, fam. He's out here. He's making moves. I can't wait. He might. Don't be surprised after my reread. He's the one.
Told you.
Don't be surprised.
That man went up, bro. That man went up. I told you. That man stock rose.
He is playing the long game, bro.
He might be the one. He might be the one.
He might not be, but he might be though.
He is not the one.
He might be a player.
He might be. He might be Himothy.
He's trying to piece of shit his way into top one in the verse.
And I respect it.
All it is.
I respect the grind.
He's gonna be the only one left.
There you go.
Okay.
The clan is meant to die off anyways. All I care about is the 3 kids in Senpai. I care
Facts.
about Sakura being a great king down the line. Fair. I'm not Sakura stan to that degree though. Poor
I like
Sakura for not
Pingara.
being the one.
Rigara.
She's my girl, but she ain't the one.
Close.
Hey, if it
Close.
works, it works.
The only one that matters is Clove.
Wait, we don't wait. Close, Pingara, Rigara, Sagara,
It's
Anata,
Cloth.
Vasuki,
It's Cloth the one that
Massivan,
followed
All
Artie.
those Karas you just said are mid. That's
Glam.
crazy, isn't it?
Glam. You're a fucking hater.
We gonna stack up on the bug spray, and
Yeah,
when your sewer clan pulls up eventually, the raid's not enough. You need something
need
stronger
super.
than raid. You need raid max ultra plus turbo. I knuckles. That's what I was to say. Like, there's one more
Plus
thing about
ultra.
that. Plus ultra. Oh, I didn't read my hero this week, did I? I'll do that now.
You're not missing much.
No, I won't. I remember why I didn't read it. I scammed through it and it wasn't fighting.
Why do you still read that shit?
I literally did a quick zoom. I said no hands. I'm good. One of my very good friends is a really big My Hero fan. I had no problem talking to him about it.
No. I'm sorry.
I don't
You
dislike
should
My
ask
Hero, by the
You
way.
should ask him
I
about
don't.
Bakugo being killed only to get resurrected.
I don't. I mean, that's not coming. This didn't bother me, but I don't hate the series. I don't think it's like mind blowing or anything, but I actually don't dislike My Hero to the, like as much as I just don't care about it like that. If that makes sense. It's not important to me. Like just like JJK, you're in the same camp. I don't care about it. So all of this going on. Asho's still confident she's gonna win. She different facts. Cloth is the
Ash is
one that took a liking to
delusional.
ID. That's why I asked. 'Cause I wanted to make sure it wasn't Clush or Cloffy. I couldn't remember which one it is, but okay, yeah. I like that. Cloth is the one thing like Horikoshi need to hurry up and pack it because it ain't the one. I don't know. Those top gears are moving me more than gear second, third, fourth, and fifth. That's all I'm saying. I'm talking so much shit right now. But anyways,
Top Gear.
I don't know. Is that what it's called? I don't know. He was punching the shit out of
What the-
Shigaraki. I don't know. He was punching him. He's going crazy. But
Yo.
I think Abyss is almost done based on what I was told. So we'll see how that ends.
Abyss being done doesn't mean the time travel shit's gonna be done though. We got
agree.
like another arc.
I agree. I know she said she kind of wanted to wrap up. I am honestly a little bit. I'm kind of itching to get back into present time stuff. I'm honestly speaking, but this has been really good. So I've been enjoying the journey. So I'm not particularly pressed, but yeah, one more is what I was told. Yes, based on what someone told me last week. But yeah, what do you think, Miles? Let's keep going, bro. What else we got?
Okay.
It is, oh, by the way, it is
point.
crazy to think that it's all happening and Asha's just there like about to win.
We don't care about her.
See nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Well, let's relax.
I want Leez to be happy,
it's-
but Asha nothing wrong.
Whatever. It's interesting that Garuda and Indra both have like kind of eye coverings and they're both sky elements. But that's just an interesting thing to think about.
He has the little mask thingy.
And then Indra covers.
I want to
his
say like
eyes.
Mugula Flaga for some reason, but I'm thinking of someone from different Gundam series or Mecha series. But then Indra has like the bandages around his eyes, doesn't he? He like wrapped them.
Yep, and he takes them off sometimes. So I don't know if there's like a specific reason as like why
His
he
ass
covers
has to go
them.
too, by the way. They have to get him the fuck out of here.
I need Yama to take him out.
Facts.
I don't know if Yama want that work, but
Come on, dog.
If Yamamoto Agni will.
Do you think that I would lose? I would never lose a fight.
I mean, yeah, Yama first fight Yama pulled up to he got smoked by Arivata, and that was a 1v4.
Nah, that wasn't real.
And
Hey,
also,
matter of fact,
she was cheating.
she was cheating. She was
Yes.
cheating. She was
Yes.
cheating.
Because that ain't the real her. That's Cat.
I mean, that's her original power because it got stolen, so she just got
Nah,
back what was rightfully hers.
She was trash. That's why she lost her name.
Oh, she was trash. She was trash because her son took her power away.
Yep.
Yes.
Get a better
Fuck that
vagina, bitch.
Fuck
Hit the
that loser.
gym.
He's a four stage for how many billion years? What a
Hit
loser.
the gym. What do you mean my son took my power? Get in the gym. Put some
She should have been on.
push-ups.
She should have been on the Garuda tip and just murked him.
No, that's too great.
Nah, Chess would have got away.
Lost,
Just would've got
Lost
away?
said, my lord, pull out the notes.
I have them. These guys are being foolish.
You don't got nothing.
What did I do?
Okay.
You don't got jack diddly shit.
Kubera and Indra have canonical beef, it seems, okay? I don't know if this was supposed to be Curry's
Oh, man,
play on.
God of Earth?
Yes.
Having beef? That's crazy,
Yes.
bro.
But it seems like they're like the way in which they even play against each other, like might be as like players in the game. But Indra seems far more of a pawn to the Primevals. It's kind of mentioned a lot. But even in a
Indra's-
blog post,
It's just a Brahma dick rider. That's what
he's
he is.
he's a primeval dick rider.
No.
Not like that's really any better, but in a blog post even
He's still riding
it's
dick.
said, yeah, it's said that it said Kubera can make Indra look like a fool, and I can't remember if the specific wording, if it was specifically in a fight or just like in conversation. I think it was kind of both. But then I'm like, oh, is Earth actually? Cause you know how certain elements have like advantages on others. So I was like, oh, I guess Earth is advantage on Sky, which I guess makes sense. But yeah, so Kubera just kind of beats that man, dog shit out of the man. So shout out my guy.
Okay.
Anan and Rana are related. I thought that was interesting. I didn't pick that up the first time.
What?
It also explains her pseudo royal family status.
Yeah,
Why she wasn't a real.
You said who?
Why she was a real thing.
Ran
Anan and Rana are related.
I thought you said Ran and Rana. I knew that already. That's the same last name, right? Mira, whatever. That's the same last name.
And then fucking Ran and Anna are also related.
Wait, who?
Ran and Anna are also related.
Yeah.
Kubera's packet Indra, I know it, and Yama.
And Agni.
You said Kubera is completely immune to electricity and he is stronger than Indra in hand to
Yeah.
hand. Let's fucking go.
That's also kind of like why even like what's his name's like thing, Anatus thing was kind of weird because like his weakness for his source.
Kubera
He's
starts
strong
hooping in this
against.
next chapter, by the way. He going back in that top 10. That's all I gotta
Shut
say.
up. You're a fraud.
If Indra come down and he start giving him the 1-2,
Oh my god.
the hard
I mean, he
hands, the
should.
crystal amethyst, it's over.
Kubera. I mean, Kubera's that guy. What
Just hear the fucking music from her stage come in.
Oh, they told me I'm peak on seriousness. I'm back. I'm serious now. I'm serious. All right.
No. This is real content.
Straight face.
100%.
Aline Hayes and Anna Hayes. Those I caught. I caught those. I caught the Anon thing the first time that I saw the chat. I saw his last name. I'm like, I literally think I remember asking. I might have done that
You're
one
so
live.
smart.
No,
You're so smart.
I might have done that one live, and I'm like, that's Rana's last name, right? And someone was like, yeah, and then I just kept it pushing. That's all. Or I might not even not even be able to take full credit for that one.
You're so smart that even that knowledge is nothing to you. I mean,
I am smart. He's not wrong. Smartest person I know. That's not true.
This one I was actually.
You got any Brilla stuff?
Shut the fuck up. No, we don't care about her. We did all the Brilla stuff last week. Okay.
I need more.
If you haven't noticed, I'm actually going like timeline based on the events in the story.
I didn't notice.
Okay, this one's weird. Okay, because this is like one of the very few times that we ever seen God Kubera shocked. But when the Kanara girl, who we assume is Tilda, mentions the Temple of Time, he seems genuinely surprised, like he didn't know it was here.
Mm.
Which is weird.
What do you think that indicates?
Well, it's weird because it doesn't seem like it wasn't common knowledge, because it seems like all the humans literally knew it existed. I think it was one of those weird things if it's super common, but like they don't talk about it because people just think it exists, so like the gods still wouldn't know. But like, I don't know. I feel like it would be weird for Kubera to not know the Temple of Time, which we know has to do with Anata, and not like try to, I don't know, see what that is or try to find them or whatever. I don't know. That just seems kind of weird that like he didn't know what the fuck that was, or didn't know that it was like there seemingly.
He wasn't he was he also the one that brought the spear to stab Kanare or Vata with and it didn't work?
Yes.
Around the same time? Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I got the timeline. Some things. Okay, I remember that. So do you think it's one of so you think it's weird for him to have not known?
Yeah, because just him being shocked is how many
It's
times has
very
this
rare.
happened?
It's rare. He's not usually caught off guard. So
Yeah. So whether or not the relationship of him and Anata was really formed, which I don't think it was, because I think that's when he was talking. He was like, everything I do now will be for Anata and stuff after that point. So maybe he had no desire to look at it. But there was a level of shock to it, which means that there's something outside the realms of like what he expected or could control for. And whatever that reason is, I don't know. But there's some level of significance to it.
I agree. That time temple in general, whoever the owners or changing owners are, and I think it's gonna be some full circle because, like we said earlier, I do think that time might be one of those like a grand design thing in the universe that's greater than any being, even the ones who can create stuff and create whole universes. Or once the concept of time is created or implemented, maybe it goes beyond your control. I'm not sure exactly how I use it, but I'm with you. Um, it's interesting that I guess he makes that like I guess he doesn't know about that, and he also makes the mistake about area of Vata Kanara with the spear, where it's like it's not a mistake. So I guess he just kind of goofed up that
Well, at
entire.
least with the Kinnara Arivata, it would have worked, but he was literally just a second too late because she just passed the name on. So I guess for me, that's fine. But even this, because time, like, I feel like even in D1000, which is when this is happening, the time stuff is really weird, right? Because at that point, Rao is technically the owner of time. Though I
Yes,
guess maybe because, like, we don't know at what point he gets dropped off from time travel, so maybe he's the owner for, like,
a
a
couple
few
days,
minutes when he's
seconds.
within
Yeah.
that time because
Mhm.
like people are owners because that's weird because Anata is actually alive at this point though, and we see future Anata before we see the present Anata of that time, so we literally have like three potential owners of time traveling and moving around within the same fractions of hours, like moving into potentially being owners.
Do you think
But then
Anata
it's
gets in his
weird.
own way sometimes with all the time traveling he does?
It kind of seems like it could possibly be the case because he doesn't even remember certain shit.
Mm-hmm. I think the reason Kubera was shocked was that the way insight wasn't functioning on her.
Nah, there was a different thing. I'm telling you, just go back.
Second.
Go back. It's hold on, let me see. I think
Just
I have
as like snow on the beach, weird but effing beautiful. Is it my stream? My lord is a very generous
it.
individual, even to heretics such as yourself. All right, man.
What's up with Lost today, bro? What's up with this man?
uh, I told y'all they don't come for me. They come for you, Simi, everyone else. They come for Pat.
Shut up.
They don't come.
Shut up.
They don't come for me. I can't believe I ended up liking the Kubera so goddamn much. Not the webtoon, the God of Earth, the character. I did not like this nigga for like 3 whole seasons until the Anata arc. I'm like, hold on,
You're
Detective Kubera's.
wild.
I, I, I can't say I didn't like him, but because I couldn't read him, I just didn't trust him. So I was like, no, you're not my guy, bro. I'm not rocking with you. I'm rocking with Agni, Yama. You know what I'm saying? I'm in that camp. But oh, you know what was too? I think it's the moment where he sides against Indra. I think with Yama, and he says everything he would do is for the sake of Anata. But it's phrased in a way that you could interpret it not literally Anata the person, just the name. When I thought of that moment, a lot of his previous actions, I thought that he was doing started to make sense to me. I remember that was kind of
Yes.
the shining moment. I remember this.
Also, I pulled it up. It's chapter
Maruna's gonna get
200.
who? 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 Not me. Sorry, I got triggered.
It's
Go ahead.
chapter 226 if you want to see it, Naya. Like middle. where she's like, "There's a temple about half a day of a horse ride from here," and he's like, "What the fuck?" And they're like, "The Temple of Time," and he's like, "Everyone forget everything you have seen and heard here. If you
Oh,
speak
okay.
about it aside, you will gain bad
That's in
karma."
Anata, right?
Yes.
That's like what you said in the middle. So 15.
Yeah. And that's why it's kind of weird because I'm curious if you have to be the owner of the Temple of Time. I thought about this. Like, do you have to be the owner of the Temple of Time for a Nat to be able to pass his sins on to you? Because of the sins of a bystander? So do you need some level of recognition of his time, quote unquote, that he could pass it on? Because he literally tells Rao, like, oh, you have to do this before I can give it to you, which I think was being the owner of the temple, which he was at the time. But Maruna did take some of the sins without being the owner of the Temple of Time. However, Maruna was in a realm outside of time when he took on the sins. He was in the room of the records of the past. So I'm curious if like there are certain conditions and requirements outside of just power and soul to be able to take on the sins, which is
Do you
more time based involved.
that's interesting. Do you think that like the individual is important from the standpoint of like I don't know, like I'm sure everyone could accumulate sins and whatnot, but to be able to take on the sins from someone else, you have to be a special person of interest on top of having the literal power, physically, mentally, emotionally, if you will, to take it on. So that's why like Leez, Maruna, like the main characters, so to speak, of Kubera, because they're so important, are the ones who can do that. Because I'm kind of with you, like I want to say like you take a random person, you like inject them full of sins, it might just do the thing where like I don't know, was it with Anata? Sorry, I don't remember exactly the phrasing they used. Like it would like crack and explode and like destroy the universe. Like maybe they'd have a smaller version of that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Mhm. So let me see what the line is. It when he's talking to the to Daksha,
It's down more.
the king of
Down, down,
16th
down.
king of humanity. That's not it.
Down. It's
There's
going down, down,
I see that your
down,
life was the
down,
one of resentment. Blah blah blah. Even not even possible. But there was
down.
a temple with half a day,
Yeah.
and he's like, yeah, he's okay. Yeah, his look here is a little whatever. That temple, the temple of time, was that not a
Yeah,
temple
that
of Vishnu
look.
Nim? And he's like, everyone forget what you've seen, ever heard here. If you speak with the other side of here, you will gain bad karma. You
Which
will have to.
it's when you talk about bad karma, I'm like, is he talking about sins?
No, he's talking about Taylor Swift's new track.
Okay.
You hear karma should bang, bro. No, but sorry, no, sorry. In all seriousness, that's interesting. I actually do recall this moment, like back when I was reading it. So I'm like, why did he make that face? Like, there's more significance here, and people are talking about it. But like, the fact that he told everyone there, like, yo, don't think about it, you'll get bad karma. Like, is that a weird thing connected to Sim, or does he just mean that like it'll come back to haunt you someday? Can he do that? But I actually think he's just saying that to like scare them because I remember correctly, Art Ram and the other person, whatever and stuff, they were talking about like the blasphemy of the gods and whatnot. And some people, even as early as this time in the past, are like, that's just nonsense. They be copying about that blasphemy nonsense. Like some people genuinely don't believe in it. So
Yes.
I think he's playing on
That's
the fear that they
possible.
believe in it.
Yes. I agree. I think that's also possible. But I feel like it's one of those weird things. Because even then underneath says the word, it means sin/karma gained through mouth. So I feel like it could still play on the sin thing. Which kind of goes again like, is he saying that because it's Anatsa stuff and that's super like uh kind of like not like classified, but it's like it's such a worrisome thing you have to worry about like when anything revolved around him because he carries so many sins that like one wrong step and you could just kind of just get destroyed just by virtue of like being near doing something dumb.
I think it's a possibility.
You know,
like I
So
think
things like that.
for the people, like for someone like Anata who really has to like take on the sins and like really know about it, I do think that he poses. I think in some way, shape, or form, he poses a threat to people around him. Where a mishap, because I don't know how much you thought he was in danger in that moment with Rao when he kind of passes him off to Rao in that
I
moment where
think
Maruna
I
was
think
fist Dave. Go ahead.
very, very much so.
Like so, like I think stuff like that probably happens, not like often, but like there's moments where he's like, oh shit, and he's got to do something quick, you know. But that thing about not telling other people actually works the same as Oracle's, I think. Just like the stuff Vishnu told Kalavinka, it was just a casual conversation, but she couldn't tell other people, or Leez couldn't tell everyone she experienced. Because it has that weird thing where you can't talk about it. That's a good point.
Yeah, which we still have to see more of. Yeah. I don't know. Next one, okay. This is kind of just like more of like a, what do you call it, a thought experiment, okay? With name, because names and souls are really like the most important things right now, like along with sins that we've learned, right? Uh, so I guess my question is, what has more agency? The example would be Arivata in the Kanara situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So OG Arivata, who is the second in command of the Kanara clan, had wind and fire attributes, right? The Kanara king, Kanara, had wind and unknown. She took on Arivata's name and is a new Arivata, and she still has wind and unknown. We don't know if she has fire, but from what her abilities that we've seen, it looks like she has earth because she traps Kubera and all the others in like an
Those guys in
earth
the
pillar.
wall, in those walls, yeah.
Yeah, and then she's like creating like flowery like plant life forms, which like Kubera's done. So it seems, so for me that like seems obviously like that it's earth, right? So uh it's one of those things of like, so then with her getting the name Arivata, what was the power that she claims from the name? It's not source attributes because she keeps that from her original self. Does she take on, does she gain the Shura form? Oh yeah, and her Shura form wasn't changed, which is weird because they're both elephants, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Kanara we've seen as a new Arivata is an elephant, and Arivata, like lore-wise, is an elephant as well. So they're both elephants, which is kind of really weird how like they're both kind of very similar in what hoofed animals they could be, especially because Shasta is a fucking horse.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's like you don't get the Shura form, you don't get her attributes. So then what does the name Arivata provide you? Is it just raw power, just high transcendental level?
So
But
what
if
you're
she
trying to
had those,
you're trying to discern like
yeah.
what's more important, the attributes you have of the name. Is that what you're trying to do? Sorry.
Yeah, like I guess when you get
So
new names, what does that come with? Like what actually is
okay.
retained from the original
So
owner
let's say
of said name?
let's say my original attributes are like darkness and fire, and and I got the
Yeah.
name whatever Unga Bunga, right? Right, and then
Shout out Twitter.
right, and then I take the name Inga Dinga, which is a stronger name than my name, but it doesn't necessarily change my like I don't get like light and Ashvins or something like after the fact and then like completely changes me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I keep whatever I kind of am born with, and you're basically asking what am I absorbing with the new name? Is it just a stat boost and everything like
Yeah.
strength? That's a good question actually.
Because
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Corey's right because I did put this. I'm glad I put it. Curry specifically says sword form is not determined by name alone, so he is partially right. But I also had notes of like, to what degree is this like the same? Like, is it saying like it's a component and just not like the full picture? So it's like, could you get base animals
Mhm.
based off the name, but like there'd be significant differences in what like it is, as in like they're both elephants, right? But could like her getting the name, you like she changes details of like more legs, or she's bigger, or she has horns now, you know what I mean, things like that. Like, is it a
Yeah.
baseline thing, or is it just like full on. So that again, it's just like,
Here's
what the fuck does getting this new name grant you?
here. Well, I think that while they're kind of saying some things. One thing I wanted to say is hold on. Shoot, where was it? It makes you more sexy. I think it enhanced her attributes or just made her stable from her unwell state. Aryavata was an anomaly because she basically took her power and she took the power from Aryavata. Absorbing it probably helped correct it. Like, do you think this is one of those things where it's like it's such an outlier situation and scenario that we'll never really see again? It's hard for us to wrap our head around it because I honestly have this a similar question for like Lee's. With her having the names that she has now, what does that actually do?
So that's why I feel like that's why she has the attributes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, obviously she has birthday attributes. That's why she's Earth. But I do feel like her having the name Kubera, maybe it's just supposed to be like a perfect coincidence. But I feel like it definitely kind of played part into maybe her parents planned her for that specific way. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's too much of a strong coincidence that like she has a name of the god Kubera, has a good connection to the god Kubera, and his triple attribute Kubera, and she has a name Manata. And as we see her future Lees, she has actual time powers.
Exactly, and he
So it
could time
seems
travel.
like,
So it's like she got the time attribute or
yeah,
the ability. Yeah, that's a good question.
from the names, but then we're looking at Arivata, who got this. That doesn't seem to be the case.
According to the wiki, Aryavata's Seraform was a black horse with a white tail and mane. The source there is a blog post.
Well, she wait, which we are you talking about OG or no? We gotta.
Oh, I guess that's fair. Because I thought for a second the line the you were going down the line that when she stole the name, she got the elephant form, but you said they both had one. So I'm like, oh, never mind then.
I thought they did because I swear even when I double checked in the wiki, I thought like when I looked
Or you
at
said
both, they both said elephant.
OG.
Yeah.
Basically
So
like
I think when I
stacking the
looked,
Kubera
because I think the
names.
because I think
Because stacking the
Arivata
Kubera
in
name,
Hindu
sorry,
myth is an
stacking the Kubera
elephant.
names does what exactly? Like when, because I know Asha when she kills them, her what goes up again? Her divine.
Her divine power.
There you go. What's the term for that again? Divine affinity.
The
Affinity.
divine affinity.
There we go. Like, what was the term? So, huh? Actually, it's actually odd that I never thought about that. Like, especially if because let's say I'm able to add another name. Like, what do I get? Do I get like because I would argue names tend to come with a special ability, but you can't just give it to anybody. They still have to have the body potential and maybe attribute to do things properly. Like, can someone remind me what Ganhavra's name does? He can destroy your body and soul, right? Something like that.
That's not from his name. Kali, God Kubera went to Kali, got that power from Kali, and granted it to Ganhavra.
Okay.
He took the name that has that power and granted it to Ganhavra.
He's
So
tough.
that's from a different name he
I like
has.
that question. No, that's another thing I'm gonna write down to look out for. Because like the Ashura thing, I'm already kind of seeing what you're talking about. So I'm gonna look out for that. It's interesting.
Wait, yeah, okay. Maybe I was. No. I'm looking at this now. Okay. In Hindu mythology, Arivata is a four-tusked white elephant, right?
Yes, we
And
know
this is
that. We
on
knew that
the
from the mythology for sure. We know that.
yeah,
Yes.
and that's on the new Arivata's page, who we physically see has that specific form, which he literally fights Kubera on them, right? She has that form, so that seems to match out, right? When I go to Kanara's page, it says in Hindu mythology, a Kanara is a creature that is half human, half horse. Now let me go to the OG Arivata.
Because Kama is my girlfriend. Kama is a god.
Because I guess it's
Where is he? Oh, that's good.
and then yeah, on the OG Arivata, it still just says the thing about the elephant.
According to an oracle, Saha received God Kubera's power was spread amongst people with his name, and then the more Kuberas die, the more of the power gets concentrated. It's a good
It's
critical
basically the movie The
question.
One with Jet Li.
Yeah, that's a cool critical question. Yeah, everybody tells the right of Indra. Does it get concentrated into certain people with the Kubera name? It could just be all Kuberas are they're all kind of OP. So wait, if there's 100 Kuberas and you kill 50, it just makes all of the 50 stronger, right?
Yes.
That's, that's why I thought Asha was doing it for Leez. She's like, I'm gonna kill every Kubera and you gonna have all the power. I was wrong.
But I'm curious. I think with Asha, I don't know though if Asha. I don't know if it's specified. I think if she kills them, I think she might get more of the power though, even though some of it would still get distributed.
I, I
Or
think
maybe she just
it might they might still like do the thing where it's like with the less power to share the name with, the remaining ones become more powerful, but
yeah
her divine affinity goes up every time she takes one out though.
yeah
So
because Lisa specifically known to like also get stronger from like the dead ones. I think. Uh, and the same thing is seemed to be applied with Jabril and Lila, who precede Ash's action of taking the Kubera shit. So the Kubera free for all has been going on for a while, even more so when it seems like people are like, was Lee's as a kid made to be a sacrifice for this supposed battle? Uh, but yeah, the Aravata stuff is weird because the name and sure form stuff is. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
all right, hit us with one more.
Uh, so
Then I'm getting wings.
okay. After Aravata beats everybody's asses, right?
Mm-hmm.
She says they talk cryptically about a plan that's coming to be, and she says, "Okay, Garuda, you have to take my place in this great plan now." And Garuda says, "Fine, I'll do your work as well as mine."
Mm-hmm.
I know this is 1,000 years prior. Was this specifically for the fight for Anata? Like she had like when they went to go the bag like fight Anata? Was this he had to pull up more weight in that war? Or is this way later on that caused him to be in a coma and during the cataclysm?
Take my place makes me think maybe she was supposed to go into that suspended animation. That's kind of the first thing that kind of comes to my mind, maybe. But pulling my weight, that's tough. I don't have an answer that I wouldn't just be pulling out the crease of my ass. So I'm not gonna do that. But here's what I will say. Um, I guess it depends on what you think Garuda's true motivations are. Do you think it's for the clan, for his sons to, rule the clan, whatever the case is? You got to think about what his other job is in terms of doing my job and your job, unless he's talking about his literal responsibility for taking out Anata in that part. It's a good question. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Hold
Mm.
on. For me, Kurgan basically flipped the Sura forms on the original Kanara and Aravata, but when Kanara received Aravata Nage and became the current Aravata, the elephant form, which is mythos accurate. That's kind of what I thought he was going with when he said that she stole it. So it's like now the right person kind of ended up with the right form type of thing, maybe. Because I think someone else brought up earlier that really they said Aravata was a horse with a white mane or black mane and a white tail, something like that. The Kubera name in the present timeline is
Mm.
probably also interwoven somehow with the Anata name, making them even stronger. Take My Place was about the Phoenix magic incident, maybe. Garuda retaliated instead of Kanara, and Kanara managed to maintain her neutral stance. Think about that. What Corey thinks.
Uh, I guess that's. Oh, okay. I guess that's another one. Okay. No, I guess that's fair. I'm trying to think. Wait, was she? Wait, was she neutral in that though? Because there's certain points in history where like the Kanara clan isn't neutral. I'm trying to remember. Was she not? I thought everybody actually attacked during the fiendish magic. I think that was one of the ones where it was like pretty. I could be misremembering. It's hard to remember every single time and which side each clan is on, but I know there's certain points where the Kanara clan does actually do shit, and sometimes when they're actually neutral. You might be right. Actually, it might be they just weren't neutral when they fought Anata. That might be what it was.
It is entirely possible. But Lamb, you there? You sleep?
I'm here.
All right, I'm just checking. All right, I want to wrap this up. Y'all got any final words for the people?
Nope.
All right. Y'all be safe. This will be out tomorrow. And I got some Tower God stuff to put out. I gotta feed them. I feel like they're starving. So shout out to the Patreon gang. Shout out to my certified BAM lovers. I appreciate y'all. Gotta show love to the priests of fire. You already know what's brilliant, gang, over here. But I gotta give a huge thanks to my tier 3 subscribers, the fifth Zen gods. Shout out to Zodiac, Sunny Katapali, Simi, Scobe, Revenant, Lucky Roo, Lazy Dragon, Chris, Johnny Rogers, Irene Sharda, Triss, David Langstaff, Childish Nujabes, AJ, and my boy Big Abdel. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.